from James Moshkut, okay? And he got these all from this old experience. So he wrote a letter or a paper, and you'll find it online. It's a lot better than what I said, but anyway. And he listed this 10. So be cautious of labels, okay? So, okay, just a janitor, just a, So be cautious of that, okay? Everybody, and I mean everybody, is worth something, okay? And everyone deserves respect. Courtesy makes a difference. How about that? How did that change his life just by knowing that my cadets actually know what I'm about and what I did, as opposed to just cleans toilets. And oh, by the way, he was the best janitor in the world. I mean, he would clean everything unbelievably, okay? So take time to know your people. Life's fast, but you got to slow down a little bit, slow down to move faster kind of thing. So you got to know your people. Anyone can be a hero. Anyone. Leaders should be humble. Yes. Life won't always hand you what you think you deserve. So we'll look at Lieutenant Evans. Did she expect that? No. Did I expect to be here 30 years after I got commissioned? No. All that kind of stuff, okay? But at the end of the day, you just got to do what you do. Get the hand you're dealt with. Sometimes there's a hand change, and you keep moving on. No job is beneath a leader. Okay, so if a Congressional Medal of Honor recipient can clean a toilet, what can't you do? Right? Nothing. Pursue excellence. And the last one is just life is a leadership laboratory. We are experiencing leadership all the time. Okay? Whether you take advantage of it or not is up to you. But we are experiencing it all the time. So at the end of the day, leadership is a gift, but you have to earn it. The people that you lead decide whether you'll be their leader or not. You have to earn it. Not just be there, but you're going to have to earn it. That's a big deal. So with that, I'm going to wrap it up and right on the mark, so about a half hour. So what questions do you have? Anything. Silence. Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
When you first started like a leadership position, what was the hardest thing to wear at first?
Well, that's a tough one. I think the hardest thing, I guess, was just, because I was actually quite an introvert when I was a young pup. And I just wanted to fly the airplane. I just wanted to be the best I could at flying the airplane, and that was my job, and that's all I cared about. I think when I was the life support officer in my first assignment, when I actually had a few airmen underneath me, first time, it kind of came to light that, hey, these people things, they matter, right? It's not just me, it's the whole group. And for them, I think the hardest thing that I learned to do was just to write really good evaluations. And I'm a decent writer, but I'm not a great writer. And I really had to work hard at writing a good evaluation report where they were going to absolutely be taken care of, for good or bad, but be taken care of by writing it. So that was, I guess, the hardest thing initially when I got there was just learning how the process was and getting to know them. But then over time, the more I got to know them and the more they got to know me, and then it kind of gelled pretty good. But initially that was the biggest kind of shocker, I guess, if you will. Okay. Yes?
So I'm not really sure, like I know in the Army when you first get in as a second lieutenant you have a platoon, but when you go in through the Air Force, are you immediately like put with a group or are you on your own?
it varies a lot on what you do in the Air Force. A logistics readiness lieutenant or a security force lieutenant, once you go through the initial training, you're going to have a lot of people under you right away. Okay, for other people like pilots, WISOs, et cetera, you're going to go through a lot of training because they're trying to train you first. So when you go through pilot training, you go through like a year of pilot training, and it's all about you and your performance. And then you go through follow-on training, F-16, whatever, and again, it's all about your performance. And then you go through the initial squadron, and you're a lieutenant, and you don't have anybody under you because it's all about your performance. So the first few years, in some circles, it's really all about you as opposed to the other people. And then later on, we'll start to get more leadership experience in that case, okay? So it varies a lot,
Right.
if that makes sense to you.
Do
So
you wish you'd had people under you like going in right away, or?
I do, but I just wouldn't have the time too, because that's the hard thing, because you can't. I guess if you didn't sleep, you could have a lot of people under you, and you could still go fly, and you could still do all your stuff. But the initial 2 to 3 years is just a bear. I mean, it really is, and it would really probably distract actually from what your main job really is at the time.
Right.
So it's a little different, and I realize that. I mean, the Army is centered around people and around, that's the heart and soul of the Army, is the platoon, the company, and the battalion. And the Air Force, the heart is the squadron, but there's a lot of different types of squadrons out there. So it's just different is all. But okay, you bet. Any other questions? Yep.
You had a slide with like the culture over strategy.
Mm-hmm.
Could you like elaborate on like how we could apply that to our EPICS teams?
Okay, so let me think. It's still, it's easier. It's going to be easier to change culture for an EPICS team than it is going to be for GE. Okay, example, big example. But there's still a culture element even in a small group. It's hard to change. It's easier to change culture in a small organization, but it still is kind of hard. But you're going to be, 5, 6 people?
12.
12 people? Okay, all right. So you're 12 people in an EPICS team, and so there's different personalities. Nobody's going to leave, get fired, go anywhere, that kind of thing. And it kind of is what it is. The culture itself, you can try to change it a little bit, but are you going to be together for more than a semester?
Oh yeah.
Okay. So for multiple semesters, you could slowly, I guess, try to change. Now, got to be careful what you change, because you might change from good to bad, vice bad to good, right? So, and it's not that black and white, but still. That's a hard one, though.
Tough question.
Yeah, because it's not quite the institutional culture that you're talking about. It's more of the small group dynamic culture. And all you can do is if you're the leader of the group, you can try to encourage innovation. You can try to stifle bad feelings or personality conflicts or anything like that. But I don't know. Yeah.
All right, so you had a slide that was talking about relationships with people who really don't have much interpersonal skill, right?
Mm-hmm.
So say perhaps you're supposed to be the leader of somebody who's really not connecting, who's not like trying to get with the program more or less.
Mm-hmm.
What would you recommend as like one of the best ways to really connect with somebody like that?
That's going to vary a lot on what the person is like and what they really prefer. There's a balance between going too far to their side and everybody else is kind of out in the cold. And so you have to try to find a happy medium, I think, to try to get the person in the group a little bit, but not totally isolating the rest of the group and just you and him or her being buddies. It's a lot of trying to think of the right word. You kind of just have to kind of feel it out, see what the person is like, him or her. And then when you maybe make a connection somewhere, is it a sport, is it a game, is it a whatever the connection may be, if you can find one at all, then you can maybe kind of elaborate on that and then leverage that to get into more of the mindset. It's not easy. I mean, it's the epitome of interpersonal skill, right? So it's hard to tell unless you're right there, right then. But that would be where I would start, I guess, and then just try to work it from there. But you got to be careful not to go too far to that side and then totally ostracize everybody else too. So it's a little bit of both as you try to slowly bring the group and him together, kind of thing, or her. Okay, thank you. Yep.
So sort of bouncing off of that, so without the military structure in place that I feel like is constantly promoting that personal development towards leadership, how do you recommend, we promote ourselves or we build ourselves as leaders or build our peers that might be struggling?
Okay. Well, you can read. There's books out there, including that one, which is pretty good. You basically have to embrace the climate and culture that you have to, I'm trying to think of a word here. It's more for I'm thinking hold on a second. So you have a group of people and you have to kind of struggle and try to figure out where everybody belongs, right? Hold on, go ahead. You're going to say something? Or okay, I'm not, hold on. I don't know, to be honest. Okay, you have to figure out the best way to do it. You have to kind of, well, it's hard to say without knowing like the people themselves. You just have to do it. You just have to be there. So I don't know. It's hard for me to say, apart from the military, outside the military, how to do it compared to in the military, because we just get it breathed down our neck day and night. Other than reading and practicing, thinking about it, and writing. That's about it.
Okay,
Sorry.
thank you.
Sorry. Go ahead.
Did you ever do any aircraft testing as a test pilot, or were you ever interested in applying to be an astronaut in the astronaut program?
I was interested in applying for the astronaut program. It never worked out. I didn't go to test pilot school, so no, I haven't tested in aircraft itself. So what I basically did was, as I got into the F-16 world, after flying for a few years, there are a couple different routes you can take. Okay, you can do test pilot school, you can do weapons school, You can try to do the Thunderbirds, whatever. There's different avenues you can take. I chose weapons school, so it's basically the Top Gun of the Air Force, 6 months at Nellis, where you take instructors and they go through a school to be the best instructors they can be. So you take instructors from the operational world, and then they are taught how to be the absolute best instructors they can be, and then they go back out to the world to be the weapons officers. So, but it's a good question. There's choices. There's things to do, and I didn't want to do the astronaut thing necessarily. I'd love to go into space. Don't get me wrong, but training for years for maybe a shot was something that didn't appeal to me as much as doing it every day in the Air Force or in the airspace. So, okay. Any other questions? Well, I thank you for your time. I hope this was useful. And if you have any questions, you know where to reach me. I'm just down the road. So look me up there if you need to. All right? Thank you.